Let's enter weird showbiz history.
Saucy.
And Sid goes home and there is an axe in the floor.
And that's it, we're going to be together. And I said, no, we won't. He said, well, if we're not, I'll be dead within a year.
Sid James and Barbara Windsor were the king and queen of the Carry On franchise. His gravelly chuckle and world-weary lechery, her infectious giggle and bubbly charm. They bantered, they flirted, they made us roar with laughter.
Have you got a large one?
I've had no complaints so far.
Seeing's believing.
We thought it was only reserved for the screen. A real-life story was playing out. A relationship that mirrored their on-screen chemistry and threatened to destroy their private lives. This is the rollercoaster relationship between Sid and Babs, and I'm gonna give it to you.
Matron! I didn't realise there was a door there and another door. What do you think of that? I've never been so shocked and humiliated in my life.
To understand how their story started, you need to understand the players. Sid, born in 1913, was a late bloomer in the acting world. He grafted for years, honing his craft in radio, theatre and film, before becoming a household name in the 1950s with Hancock's Half Hour.
I am not ugly, because a lot of women think I'm very attractive.
Only women who aren't as good looking as you are.
You watch tonight, I'll murder him. You watch the old James technique come into play.
You drug them, don't you?
He entertained audiences with his leering grin, impeccable comic timing, and his Jack the Lad personality.
You're not trying to pick me up, are you?
Do I look the sort of bloke that goes around picking up birds?
Sid possessed a very roguish charm. He had a twinkle in his eye and that signature cackling laugh that would ultimately become his trademark.
Sid, he said, I don't have a talent. I couldn't do Shakespeare. I couldn't do this. What I can do is me.
If I played Shakespeare, I'd lose. He said, racing, Sid, it's just not right. Can you imagine me playing Shakespeare? No, or whatever it is. No, not me, mate.
He was a natural performer, but beneath the surface, he was also known for his intense ambition and a roving eye.
Coming out of the stage door of the Victoria Palace, and as Sid and I came out, nobody recognized me without the cap and the glasses, but all the teenage girls went, Sid! And I looked and I thought, my God, he's a sex symbol.
Oh, yes, they queue up outside the dressing room. Murder.
Who's Maggie? This is Maggie, the sharpest, cunningest little bird that ever flew the nest.
Enter Barbara Windsor, the bright and bubbly actress with signature blonde hair and an infectious energy. She was a stage school kid with a natural gift for performing. Before Carry On, she made a name for herself in Sparrows Can't Sing, a gritty, groundbreaking film that showcased her dramatic abilities as well as her comedic timing.
Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do my wedding cakes with this stuff on my hand.
My wife used to use this on me.
No wonder she left you.
Babs was the epitome of the cheeky Cockney sparrow, vivacious, ambitious, and utterly irresistible. She was the East End's darling, a pint-sized powerhouse. On screen, she projected an image of innocence, but off it, she was nobody's fool.
And he was a spy, playing spy, and he had this big black beard, you see. And I did my first line with him, and I goofed and got had the wrong teeth, and he went, oh, ducking, do get it right. And I swung round and I said, don't you talk to me like that with Fenella Fielding's minge hair around your chin. And he turned around and he went, oh, isn't she lovely? Oh, I love her. Oh.
In the early 60s, her career was taking off, and she was ready to conquer the world.
Excuse me?
Look now, Sonny, I'm busy.
Sonny, you want your eyes tested?
Excuse me. I thought they always built the shock absorbers into the bikes.
To grasp the intensity of their connection, you need to understand the unique world of Carry On.
It's rather fun to work on these. Now, why?
Well, I think it's because we all like each other to start with.
We wouldn't be
We love each other, as a matter of fact, don't we?
Vic, darling, I think I'd like a roll.
Great, let's go upstairs.
I mean a sausage roll.
Oh,
These weren't just films, but a British institution, running from the late 50s through to the 70s. I'm not counting Carry On Columbus in 1992 because it was shit. Low budget, high innuendo, and charmingly silly, they captured the British public's imagination, existing in their own comedic universe. Often filmed in the same locations with a core cast of real-life eccentric personalities, the off-screen became a close-knit dysfunctional family. And Sid was very much the father figure.
Oh, now, come on, that's enough of that. Here's all the smudges you're putting on there.
I always feel sorry for a newcomer because he feels strange, because it is really like someone coming into somebody's family. But we've never ever had any trouble with newcomers, really, because we just belt them.
The Carry On women viewed him as a wise, charming gentleman. Sure, he was cheeky and flirtatious, but he was never lecherous.
If the makeup girl got up to leave the room, Sid would stand up and go and open the door for her.
I mean, he was cheeky, but he wasn't going around sort of pawing females or hands up their skirts or debauched or drunk or a lech or any of these things that are attributed to him now.
Big names, familiar faces. Sid James among those to be presented to the royal guest.
And by the mid-60s, Sid James was the undisputed governor. Already a major star from film and TV, his lovable rogue persona was firmly established. And on the Carry On set, he was the anchor, the leading man, often playing characters that couldn't resist a pretty face.
You mind putting that away first?
Oh, why, sure.
Wow, what a holster. Disgusting.
And off-screen, he appeared the opposite. Happily married to his third wife, Valerie, he was a devoted father. He projected stability despite his roguish image.
But you're the eternal dirty old man in these films, aren't you?
I'm the eternal dirty old man, that's it, you know.
Is that good typecasting?
No, not really. Not really.
A man who played all those dirty lechers and leery men say, oh, he's a chain smoker, oh, he's a drunk, oh, he's out with every bird he sees, because that fits the character.
Then, bursting onto the scene came Barbara Windsor, debuting in the franchise in 1964's Carry On Spying, a film Sid wasn't in.
Number?
38, 22, 35.
No, your number, not your vital thingamajigs.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I forgot where I was for the moment. Actually, it's 4711.
Have you had any experience?
Oh, yes, a little.
Her star power was undeniable. Petite, platinum blonde, with that dazzling smile and charismatic presence, she instantly became a fan favourite. The first time their paths significantly crossed was on the set of Carry On Doctor in 1967. Sid, the malingering patient, Barbara, the effervescent nurse.
Hi.
Very different over there, you know. Do you know what?
Just a joy to work with him. Nothing you could tell him about filming. I learnt a lot from Sid.
Off-screen, Sid was charmed by Barbara's vitality and spontaneous cheekiness. And Babs discovered that he was the perfect gentleman, wise, charismatic, the ultimate charmer. Their scenes together became the highlights of the later films.
You don't have to draw me any diagrams.
Billy, she's going to get my ballpoint out.
They were an incredible pair.
Don't miss no bell.
In the movie, Sid's character was often the lustful middle-aged man chasing after Barbara's character, the flirtatious, often naive young woman. And the lines between fiction and reality would begin to blur. At this point, Barbara was also married to Ronnie Knight, known for his connections to London's underworld, a fact that added a layer of complexity and potential danger to her life.
And Ronnie Knight was getting wind of the fact that they were getting a little bit close, not affair, mind you. And Sid goes home. I think he and Val were out that night, and there is an axe in the floor. He left his card.
Their flirtations, they seemed confined to the screen and the camaraderie of the Carry On family. But off-screen, their chemistry was simmering and waiting to boil over. That moment arrived in 1971. During the filming of Carry On Henry, Barbara, in her autobiography, All of Me, pinpoints this period as the turning point. He began interacting in a way that went beyond friendly banter. There was less joking from Sid, more serious conversation, his silent glances lasting longer than Babs was used to. He played a very suggestive practical joke, showing her how to eat a passion fruit. She said his performance was highly X-rated, and Babs considered whether there may be more to his cheeky innuendos. 1973 changed everything. They filmed a Christmas special and Carry On Dick, but their time together on set was limited. What changed that? A stage show, Carry On London. Performing together on a long tour twice daily, the team hadn't ever worked together in such close proximity, and they got to know each other on a deeper level. The leads for that show, Sid and Barbara. Working together so closely, there was a significant increase in flirting. Barbara described being flattered initially, the attention, the gifts, the declarations of admiration from this charming icon, but grew concerned he wanted something more. Ronnie advised Babs to deflect the overtures by being kind to Sid, but also firm. This wasn't just a casual flirtation anymore. Sid James, nearly 30 years her senior, fell deeply, desperately in love. Their theatre dressing room eventually became their sanctuary. The more time spent together rehearsing alone, the affection increased towards him, pouring their hearts out to one another, connecting on an emotional level. Sid's company made her feel warm and secure. His expression of his demonstrative feelings towards her made her feel like a goddess. And Barbara's attraction towards him was overwhelming, falling for her leading man, inevitably embarking on a love affair.
They were hiding it from their spouses, the press, trying to keep it from their co-stars. But secrets like this, they rarely stay hidden in such a close-knit environment, and the whispers undoubtedly started.
Sid's feelings escalated beyond what Barbara had bargained for. He wasn't interested in just being her secret lover, he wanted everything. Begging her to leave Ronnie, build a life together, but she was reticent. She was unsure about leaving her husband and felt Sid would never want to leave his wife and family. Babs became an all-consuming obsession. His grand romantic gestures became overwhelming, and his undisguised passion started affecting the cast. During one performance, as she waited in the wings to make an entrance, notoriously lovely co-star Bernard Bresslaw held onto her arm for support. Sid blew into a rage, demanding he take his hands off her. With poor Bernie left dumbfounded and Barbara furious. The frequent jealous outbursts became on-set gossip, and rumors of an affair became newspaper speculation. For Barbara, the situation became increasingly untenable. Initial excitement had worn off, replaced by the strain of secrecy, pressure from Sid, the clear realities of the situation. The nearly 30-year age gap, Sid's wife Valerie, whom Barbara respected and felt guilty towards. There was the potentially dangerous reaction from Ronnie if the affair became public knowledge.
And most crucially, Sid's desire began to feel suffocating rather than flattering.
Barbara was her own woman. She was ambitious, ballsy, building her career, and wasn't used to having her life dictated by anyone else. She was in love with him, but the fantasy life together Sid had constructed, it couldn't happen. In 1974, she made the painful decision to end the affair. Unable to do it in person, she sent an emotional long letter, ending, "Our love, no matter how great, wasn't meant to be. If you love me as much as you say you do, you will let me go." The affair took a toll on both of them. Sid was utterly poleaxed, devastated. During their last physical meeting,
He really didn't look well. And I said, well, this is stupid. I said, let's just be great friends. We had a good time and all the rest of it. And he said, no. He said, I'm going to go to Australia and I'm going to sort my life out and I'm going to come back and that's it. We're going to be together. And I said, no, we won't. He said, well, if we're not, I'll be dead within a year.
I thought of them together. Her lying in his arms, slobbering all over. I just kind of feeling sorry for the poor Burke.
his health took a dramatic downturn, a combination of heavy drinking, compulsive gambling, overworking, and emotional turmoil. Those close to Sid couldn't help but notice the strain.
And then came the shockingly sudden, sad end.
And I think the greatest shock would be to Sid what actually happened on stage at the Empire Theatre Supplement.
The curtain rose at Sunderland's Empire Theatre on Monday, April the 26th, 1976, during a stage tour of the mating season. Sid and his co-star Olga Lowe began their performance.
I was sitting on the sofa. I gave him his cues. He answered me. The audience was laughing. It was perfectly all right. And then I gave him another cue and nothing.
When Lowe delivered a specific line, she became puzzled by the lack of response. He opened his mouth to speak, retreated, lowering himself onto a sofa. Initially, Lowe believed it was a playful ruse and improvised her next line.
Eyes were sort of up. And I told you afterwards, I thought it was a gag, didn't I?
Yep.
I really honestly thought it was a gag. So I started ad-libbing and saying, "Oh, Sid, I've come all this way to see you, and this is the way you treat me." And then looked back and thought he would continue with the show, but still nothing. So then I thought there was something terribly wrong.
The audience, mistaking it for comedic improvisation, erupted in laughter.
I dived up onto stage.
Yeah. And then you went through the curtain.
I looked at Sid first of all.
Yes.
Then I went to the curtain and done the horrible thing. Is there a doctor in the house?
And they laughed again, didn't
Laughed
they?
at me.
However, the reality was far more tragic. It was not a joke, not part of the script. Sid James suffered a massive heart attack live on stage. He passed later that night, aged 62, just over a year after the affair had ended. For obvious reasons, Babs wasn't invited to Sydney's funeral, sitting home alone lighting a candle, speaking her own solemn prayer, reflecting on his caring nature and the happiness that he brought to her, not the maddening obsession that ultimately strangled their love.
She often spoke of her profound sadness and shock surrounding his death.
Despite the messy ending of their affair, the intense connection they shared left an indelible mark on her. Years later, she laid bare the complexities of their relationship, the passion, Sid's overwhelming love, her reasons for ending it, and her enduring affection for him. Never painting him as a villain, but as a man consumed by an emotion he couldn't control, and herself as a woman who had to ultimately prioritize herself.
It actually made me realise I've always thought that my affair with Sid, funny enough, was quite an unhappy time. But funny, seeing that, I thought, no, Bar, it was good. We had a laugh, you know.
In conclusion, they're two icons etched forever in the annals of British entertainment. Their legacy guarantees laughter for generations to come. But there's something about their intense secret affair that adds a layer of humanity to their carry-on caricatures. A reminder that the stars we cherish on screen often live complex lives off it, full of the same desires, mistakes and heartbreak as anyone else. And in terms of impact on the British entertainment industry, my god, they had a massive one.
Grief, it gets worse and worse.
What are your memories of Sid and Babs in the Carry On films? Does knowing about their real-life affair change how you see their performances? Share your thoughts down in the comments. And if you found this story compelling, please hit that like button and subscribe.